Welcome back to Good Morning Football. We're thrilled to have this guy here. It's not only in part of what's going on in the playoffs right now, but just what's been going on in the league for the last decade. A consummate pro who's played for everybody, with everybody. You know him, you love him, and I'm incredibly happy that we got him. It's Brandin Cooks. Brandin Cooks, what's up, my man? How we doing?
What's up? Thanks for having me. Got a lot of respect for you guys and what you guys been doing, so definitely fortunate to be able to come hang out with you guys today on the show.
We're thrilled. We're thrilled because we could have you anytime, and it's always going to be interesting. And then this week, let's just get into it softly. We respect so much of what you've been through. It's been less than a week since you were eliminated from the playoffs in Denver. How are you feeling? What's going on in your mind right now mentally?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. That's one of those ones, right? You know, they talk about a win. You get 24 hours, and then you move on. But a loss like this, in this magnitude, is going to stick with me all offseason. You know, we think about it every single day. Unfortunate because we really feel like we should be playing right now. But that, you know, here we are. So
you've been through this. What makes this different?
What makes it different, I think, you know, being in that locker room, like we really felt like we're going to get this done this year. You hear the history with the Bills, but you walk around that locker room, it's like that confidence, that pep in your step. It's like, yeah, we're about to get this done. And so, and then in a fashion that, you know, we lost, it's going to stink for a while.
I don't know that I've seen a locker room with that many tears that I saw there, and you could feel the emotion from you guys there, again, with how it went down, but also the collection of guys that you had. And I remember hearing from some folks saying, we know this could have ripple effects through the coaching staff, through the organization. What was going through your mind that night and the minds of your teammates as you're having those conversations about the effect of that loss, potentially?
Dude, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's like obviously you hear the whispers about, you know, the coaching, what that can be. But you sitting there in that locker room and everyone was just thinking about the next guy. Like, you know, guys thinking like, I'll let this guy down, I'll let the team down. And when you have that going on in the locker room, it just hurts a lot, right? You know, like the emotion that you talk about throughout that locker room, every single guy in there felt like they had something to do with that loss. And that's the testament to that team and to us that we've been resilient all year. So, yeah.
Listen,
tough one.
I respect you talking about this, and I also do this respectfully. We do have video after the game.
Yeah.
Okay? It's yourself.
Yeah.
It's some of your teammates. And we play this because I think a lot of the fans feel the same way, too. So let's take a look back. This is after Brandin and his teammates were eliminated for very unusual circumstances in Denver, and this is what they had to say.
You know, you work so hard. You know, personally, just so thankful to be a part of this. I look back and like, man, what can I have done to be able to alleviate some of that pressure from him? You just love this game so much. And when you come up short like this, it's going to sting for a long time, you know. There's no, you know, next week.
Just to remind the audience, you joined this team in the middle of the season. You've been there for maybe a couple of months. What's it like to watch that back?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I said, just the care. Like, you know, coming into this locker room, being welcomed with open arms, like you said, in the middle of the season, like I felt like I was there all year and I went through everything, but really just the love for this game. And then you hear your quarterback say, I felt like I let the team down. That triggers something for me right away because that guy has so much on his shoulder with this team, and he's carried us all year. And, you know, to have the opportunity, like I said, to be able to alleviate some of that pressure, that what was going through my mind. It's like I felt like I let him down. And, that's the feeling I get, and that's why I got triggered in that situation, because it really wasn't about myself. It was about the guy that's next to me, and that's the testament of our locker room.
A critical play, and a lot of folks out there, not even just Bills fans, said Brandin Cooks made that catch. Jaquan McMillan catches the deflection off of there. You've been in the NFL long enough. You've made a ton of catches in your career. Forget, like, what it looked like. What did it feel like to you? Because you're the only one that knows. Did it feel like a catch to you?
At the end of the day, it was a catch. Not just what it looked like you said, but what it felt like. You see examples throughout the league all year, in previous years, and you like, wait a minute, if that was the catch, then there's a no-brainer that this was the catch. But I think when you look back at it, the time that was spent on it to review it wasn't enough. And, you know, given the magnitude of that game and the situation, it's a little disappointing. It really is. It really is.
It's tricky because in the context it was overtime, so Coach McDermott couldn't review it, so the reviews have to come down. Coach calls a timeout. So take us through the aftermath. You come off the field, here comes the Denver offense, you're on the sideline. What are you saying, thinking? What's happening on the Bills sideline in the aftermath?
Well, yeah, the first thing you think about, well, it's overtime, so we can't challenge it. And so when the timeout happens, I'm like, okay, there's hope here. Like, okay, they're about to take a look at this thing and get it right. And that's what's going through my mind, right? The offense is marching out there for Denver. I'm like, wait, hold on. You know, that timeout is going to give them some time to be able to, you know, look this through. Clearly, they didn't look it through enough. And, you know, here we are.
What do you say, Brandon, and I know this is a sensitive topic for you, to the explanation that you did not survive the ground with the catch? And that's the letter of the law, and you have to come out with it, and you did not. Your response to that, because that's the justification. In fact, that's the rule, the law, rather, that is why that was not a catch.
Well, I mean, yeah, you hear that, but at the same time, in that situation, you know, knee hit, shoulder hit, back hit, whatever case may be, my hands never left that ball, right? And so the other thing is the tie goes to an offense, but I really feel in my heart of hearts that I caught that ball. And, you know, it doesn't matter now what I think or what I know. You know, we sitting here not playing. And that's why it's going to sting for a minute.
We've been asking you a lot of tough questions here. It's been a tough moment.
It's all good. It's all good.
I know, it is good.
It's a part of it, right?
But I don't want to look at this like, oh, how disappointing and terrible and all, because there was a lot of good stuff from you joining Buffalo.
No kidding.
You had a huge game there in week 17, 4 for 101 yards, 3 for 58 in the first playoff game. You at 33 years old, I still wouldn't race you down the hallway. I know you're going to win that one right there.
32.
32 going on 33. Don't shortchange him, Mike. Don't shortchange him. You're looking at your career right now. You've been through a number of teams. You've seen a lot. Your career has been a lifetime. Where are you right now in your career? Would you like to be back in Buffalo? Does it depend on who the head coach is? What are you looking at?
Indubitably. I'm going to be playing football, you know, going on year 13, no question. And I say that not just because of what happened this past week. You know, we went out there and we won a Super Bowl. I'll still be feeling the same way. There's a lot of gas in the tank. I love this game. I always said, as long as I love the process, I'm going to continue to play this game. And, of course, I would love to be back in Buffalo. Who wouldn't want to be there and play with Josh Allen to be able to, you know, write this story for sure.
Well, if you're back, you will be playing for a new head coach.
Yeah.
Not only do you have the loss in the circumstances that were difficult that you were involved in, then you find out that Sean McDermott's being let go. Tell us first, how did you find out, Brandon?
Found out through the media.
On social media?
On social media.
And what was your reaction when
you know, my reaction was wow. I mean, you talk about a great coach. You talk about a guy that he's been doing it at a high level for a long time, right? I think I know a little bit about some great coaches. I've been fortunate enough to play for some, and I put him in that category. The way he's a leader of man, the way that he approaches this game, what he's meant to me ever since I walked through that locker room. Got a lot of respect for him. It's definitely unfortunate. That's part of this game, right? But if he wants to coach, you know, he's going to, you know, obviously have a lot to choose from. So
it shows also that the standard is high in Buffalo right now, which has not always been the case. And McDermott did help establish that standard. You talked about Josh Allen. You've been through a number of great quarterbacks in your career. Where does this guy rank? What makes him so special in your mind?
Boy, yeah, I mean, what can't he do, right? And I'm not just saying that because that's, you know, my current quarterback, but he can make any throw. And then when he tucks the ball and becomes a runner, he's a running back. And the guy's a freak. The guy's a freak. I mean, the plays that he's made, you know, just even my time being here is incredible. He's running over defensive linemen. Any other quarterback, you know, sliding around. But this guy is willing to put his head down. His willingness to go out there and put it all out there for his team is definitely contagious.
Just a reminder, and when Brandon sat down, he and I were joking that, like, you have a book in you, dude. Like, you've played with everybody. You started the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. You know everyone. You played with everyone. Something that you said about Josh Allen stuck out to me is you said, what he has on his shoulders is unlike anybody else. That's different than his physical talents. Like, elaborate with what Josh Allen has on his shoulders compared to other quarterbacks you played with.
Well, I think at the end of the day, because the expectations is, you know, for the Bills to every single year in a sense to go to the Super Bowl. And obviously we've fallen short of that. And so for him, he's carrying the weight and shoulders of this organization. in this community on his shoulders because everyone's looking to Josh Allen to make that play, right? And that goes back to what I said earlier. It's like, how can I be a guy that alleviates some of that and to take some of that off his shoulder? Because you know when he goes out there, he's like, well, I got to make a play.
Yeah.
And I think the rest of the team is like, well, how can I make sure he's not overdoing that? And that's the beauty of him because, you know, he knows he can do it. He's willing to do it. He puts that pressure on himself, but yeah, it's a lot on his shoulders.
That's back to the play against Denver. You're sitting there saying, he needs to make a play. How can I help him? That was the moment.
Absolutely.
Talk about your speed and what race you down the hallway. A lot of times fast guys, you say, oh, boy, that guy can fly.
Yeah.
You really can fly.
Yeah.
You are a licensed pilot. You took Gilmore.
Is that true?
Absolutely.
Oh, cool.
It was Gilmore and Micah Parsons you took up a couple of years ago. Kyle and I, we can go up, or maybe Manti and Teron and Jamie out there.
We can go over, go around the skyline, right?
We safe up there?
Oh, you're safe. You know, yeah, you're definitely safe. Don't worry about that. You know, when we on the team, plane, it's not just 2 pilots, there's 3 pilots. So if anything goes down, they got backup.
So the movie where both pilots are out cold.
Put me in, coach.
Oh, that's Steph Gilmore right there.
Gilly and Micah.
How were they during that flight?
You know, Gilly got a little queasy. Micah was good. You know, I had to just take him on a tour. Look,
They look cool. I feel like Gilly's looking at his phone.
Yeah, no, Gilly's stomach back there hurting. So
this is really, really interesting.
Where was that you were flying over?
That was Seattle.
Okay.
When we were playing there in the preseason.
Got it. Okay.
And who knows where all this? This is probably Arizona.
Man, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
Beautiful, peaceful up there. Like you got a lot of noise in your professional life. That's got to be a nice escape.
That's the way. I mean, nothing else matters but being up there in the sky and landing that bird. So.
Well, I was gonna say landing is definitely.
I wish we could just stay up in the clouds with you forever, but you said noise. Yesterday in Western New York, they had a press conference, and I know you're looking at your phone like the rest of us. We have Mr. Pagula, we have Brandin Beam.
Yeah.
There seems to be an impression amongst fans, some of them, and I say this respectfully to both those people, that why was Sean McDermott let go? Why does Brandin Beam get to stay? There's blame on the roster. There's the owner saying, no, the roster is great. There was a lot of that, and I'm trying to speak for fans here.
Right.
Speak for yourself. What are your impressions of everything that went down?
You know, I think the first thing I got to say is from the moment that I got to Buffalo, Mr. Pagula was awesome to me, right? I think he's great. That was one of the first people I met, right? And then Bean recruited me to come here, his belief in me to be able to come help this team. And then obviously what I feel about Coach McDermott. But I also feel like I haven't been here long enough to really understand, you know, the history of everything that's been going on. At the end of the day, you got an owner that wants to win the Super Bowl, and they own the team, right? They get to make those decisions. I got a lot of respect for Bean as well. I think he brought me here. And so at the end of the day, I have nothing bad to say about any of those 3 gentlemen. I think it comes down to the city wants a Super Bowl. The city wants answers as well, and they deserve it. They're the best fans in the world. And so at the end of the day, I feel like I haven't been here long enough to really dive into
it. Makes total sense. As someone who's in the huddle, who's on the roster, did the 2025 Buffalo Bills have enough talent and weapons to not only reach a Super Bowl but win it?
No question. I'm not just saying that because I was on the team. I feel like you see the situations that we're in. We go win that game, you know, it's a whole different conversation. That was the #1 defense, you know, top 3 defense in the league, and we put, you know, 30 on them, right? And so it's a team game. And obviously, you know, we had some injuries. We had some guys out. But I really felt I've been on 2 teams that went to the Super Bowl, and I felt like we had just enough to be able to make it. I really do.
Last bit on yesterday. Your fellow wide receiver, Keon Coleman's name was everywhere. This is a young guy. You remember being a young guy. I'm sure he has a lot to learn. It was a rocky year, but there was some pretty blatant disrespect, and his name was called out many times. Are you in touch with Keon?
I'm definitely in touch with Keon. You know, when I got to Buffalo, I knew that I was going to be a guy that I gravitated towards to be able to help out. I think Keon can play this game at a high level. I really do. You know, he's going to continue to grow. I think he's also misunderstood. You know what I mean? He's a young kid, right? He's still trying to figure it out. And, you know, for me, I take that and be like, okay, how can I help this kid grow and be the guy that they want him to be. Because obviously there's talent there. The guy can make plays. I think he's continue to grow, and I think he has been. From when I got there to see how he was day one to the end of this season, he's in there at 6-something in the morning working out. He's becoming a pro. He's learning those things. And I think all it takes is some time to be able to, hey, come here, let me take you under my wing and kind of show you the way.
We are sometimes too quick to label a young guy as a bust, and he can't do that. And it's a process, and sometimes guys do flourish. What do you tell him after yesterday? Because that was some hard stuff to hear. It's almost like your parents fighting.
Yeah, and you hear it and you don't want to hear it, right? But I think the biggest thing I can tell him is to focus on him, right? You take this off season, you take that with chip on your shoulder. You figure out, hey, how to get with Josh, how to go out and spend time with him and throw and whatnot, and whatever the case may be. Spend time with guys who have done it at a high level for a long time, and don't have pride. Take something from each guy and be able to apply it to not just your game, but off the field as well. So you coming in and, you're the ultimate pro.
Because the other side of that, dude, is after yesterday, you demand a trade.
And you absolutely got a point there.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right. When you hear something like that, you're like, well, am I wanted? That's the truth as a player, right? Because typically you don't hear those things. But when you hear it, it's like, well, am I wanted? And if not, then what do I do? But if it's like, hey, no, we still want you, but we got to figure this thing out, then that's where you put that chip on your shoulder and you go to work and you prove yourself right. I've always been a believer, not proving people wrong, but prove yourself right on what you can do.
Like that. I like that.
You have a lot of football left. The second that football decides to end for you, you can do anything you want in media, man. This was a very challenging segment. We asked you some really pointed questions, and we really respect that you answered them with class. Let's have some fun in the next segment. Brandon's not going anywhere.
All right, let's do it.
We got some dudes he used to play with. We're going to bust some chops. More with Brandin Cooks. Incredible, incredible dude right here. More on Good Morning Football. Don't go anywhere.